etiquette is something we have to restructure or reintroduce to people.
There is an angle of etiquette in all aspects of our lives. At work, at home, business, social, school, play. Etiquette as it relates to family, friends, and foe. There's just no getting around it. Etiquette is in every aspect of our lives. I'm Sabrina Samuels, and welcome to my show, Modern Day Etiquette.
Welcome to another edition of the Sabrina Samuels Show with me, Sabrina Samuels. Well, Happy New Year to all of you, and I do hope that you will have a wonderful new year. And I tell you what, if we all work hard at it, we can improve the situation around us, whether it be with family, friends, work, etc. Let's just make that honest effort to be the best that we can be and only accept that back from others. That's the guarantee. That's the guarantee right there. On this edition, I'd like to address an email that I received from a viewer. She had said to me, Sabrina, I have an unusual situation going on, and I don't want my name to be said. And of course, I can respect that. She is the mother of 2 children, and they're not getting along, and now they have started yelling and talking back at her. Now, the children are 11 and 14. She says that the kids are talking back, they're acting up, and one of her children said, "You better not hit me because I'll report you to the Child Protective Service." Where did that kid get that information? That's the first thing I want to know. Well, anyway, the viewer did look at one of my clips on To Spank or Not to Spank, and she realizes that when I was a child, I got spanked, and she also reminded me that I don't spank children. Well, number one, I'm a grandparent now, and I have tapped my grandchildren on the behind when they were younger to help them to understand, don't do this, don't do that. I haven't whooped them profusely, of course, but every now and then they had to be tapped on the behind. Now you have one that's a teenager and you have one that's 11 years old, and they're both talking back and they're getting information from God knows who. Look, here's what I'd like to suggest to all of you out there, and of course I did talk to this person on the phone, and I'm going to share with you a little bit of what I talked about. Number one, when kids are out of control, which a lot of our children, they're on the electronic machines. You know, you have your computer, you have your iPad, you have your smartphone, they're texting, they're tweeting, they're doing, I mean, there's some names out there I don't even know of, but they have the ability to communicate in so many ways. And we as parents, we're working, most of us, and we don't have the time to monitor our children, so they're getting a lot of information, and unfortunate information that can harm them down the road if you are not paying attention, and can cause problems in the household. Your children are rather old in terms of having to spank them or whip them. And for the child who made that statement, "I'll report you to the Child Protective Service," this is what I would do. I would take both of my children, sit them down, and tell them, "You know what? I'm not happy with your behavior. I'm a good parent to you. I do the best I can. You know I have to work for us to eat," because she unfortunately is a single parent. But whether you have 2 parents or 1 parent in a household, when you're working and you have to put food on the table, pay the bills, etc. So you let the kids know, let me share with you what I have to do to keep things going around here. I would have a list, and I would make a copy of that list and give it to both children. This is what happens in order for you to have this lifestyle, in order for you to have a roof over your head and food on the table, in order for you to have clothes on your back, in order for you to go to school and be able to come home. This is what has to happen. And you read it off and say, and then tell them, okay, now I'd like for you to discuss with me, how do you feel about that list? Are you contributing to that list? Are you bringing home any money? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? Whatever. And then ask them, now I'd like for you to tell me what you can do to contribute to the household to make it a more peaceful place to be. Give them a sheet of paper, a pen or pencil and say, now you write down 3 things that you can do that's going to make your life happier. Because if you're argumentative with each other, if you're hollering and screaming at me, then there's something wrong. So I want you to write down what you can do to improve the situation. I don't want you to write down what the problem is, because you're already expressing that. And that is you're spoiled and you are not acting appropriately. But of course you don't want to say that, because then you'll tick them off. You want them to stay on the high road. So you ask them to write down 3 things that they can contribute. Now I guarantee you they might get 1 out because they're mad at you, number 1, because you're sitting them down to have this type of conversation. Number 2, you let them know the next time you holler and scream and you are disobedient, I'm going to do exactly what you've requested. I'm going to take you down to the Child Protective Services, and we'll see how that process works, so that if you're not happy here, then we will make arrangements for you to be happy someplace else. And don't bite your tongue. You make sure you make that call ahead of time. And this, of course, is what I'm sharing with the lady. Talk to the Child Protective Service. Let them know what your child has said to you. Let them know what kind of parent you are and how you are trying to provide for your children. And ask them if they can, if you can bring the children down for a tour of the facility, a tour of the office. Let them know what it takes to be good children by letting someone else tell them. And then you do that. Let the children see what it takes. And then go and visit some of the shelters. Ask if you can volunteer to feed the hungry. That is such an incredible, humbling experience, to be able to feed those in need, to be able to sit across from someone who doesn't have, unfortunately, a roof over their head. Teach your children now charity. Teach them the art of giving. Take the iPad and computer sometimes and the smartphone from them. It has to be a timeout. They don't need that machine in their hands 24/7. And another thing, to all of you parents, which I shared with this mother, spend time talking to your children. Take time out, at least 3 times a week if you don't do it every night. At least 3 times a week. You have to map this out. This is something that just doesn't happen automatically. Raising children, having a beautiful life takes work. I don't know why sometimes we think it's just supposed to happen automatically. No, it takes work and it takes choices. Sit down with your children and talk to them. Now, I guarantee you, they're not going to know what to say to you for the first 2-3 weeks, a month, 2 months, but just sit there and just have them look at you, straight face, oh God, oh no. And then you talk to them. Take it maybe 5 minutes the first time, 10 minutes the second time. Say, well, what did you do today? When I was growing up and lived with our father, we sat at the dinner table every night, and my dad used to put on a little smoking jacket. I mean, he really got ready for dinner. We couldn't understand that, but he made us clean ourselves up and wash your hands and groom your hair and everything. And when we sat at the dinner table, he wanted to hear what was happening in your life. And we thought that was kind of strange, but it paid off for us. That is the first thing. When kids start acting up, they're listening to somebody else because they're not having that opportunity to have the camaraderie at home with parent and children. Have them communicate with each other. Have them find things out about each other that they do like, and do more of that. I guarantee it will help. It'll be a good start. The lady who sent me the email, she was very appreciative, and she realized there were certain things that she could be doing. But I also told her, every now and then you might have to pop up, your child on the behind. And you do that in care and in love, not doing it to hurt someone or to abuse someone, but sometimes spare the rod and you will spoil the child. And sometimes you have to educate them in other ways so they can get it. Please go to my website, beckmanetiquette.com, and see what we have to offer. I'm Sabrina Samuels with Beckman Etiquette. Thank you for tuning in. Tell all your friends. And remember, love, peace, happiness, and divine order at all times. Take care, and I'll see you next week. Bye now.
Modern day etiquette.